I didn't realize that part of your secret sauce was that you were actually, when you met me or meet other people, trying to figure out how they're hurting so you could help them.
Yes.
So talk about that, because to me that was the biggest eye opener. Like, I didn't realize that that was one of your unique skills. I didn't know how you became so connected.
Yeah, well, think of it this way. Most physical pain, neck pain, knee pain, shoulder pain, a lot of physical pain is repressed emotions, and it manifests itself as the body physically hurting. Well, mental and physical pain is what humans go through on a daily basis. And sometimes it's just very subtle boredom and disappointment to outright just incapacitating anxiety or depression or addictions. And so I look at pain as a messenger. Pain is trying to, it's the siren. It's life's way of pointing out that something's wrong. Something's wrong with the organism, the mechanism, the system, the community, the society, the country, the world. And so pain is everywhere. And so one of the things I recommend in the first chapter is be a pain detective. And what I mean by that is the approach is be aware and attentive to the pain and the hurt that's going on in other people's lives, because that's where most connection actually starts. That's really true, deep connection. You're either communicating with someone and just talking with them, you're connecting with them, really authentically connecting with them, or you're trying to escape. And there are people that are connectors that really connect, and they really have empathy, and they have a concern, and they have a care, and they want to help and can help. And then there's connectors, where they actually connect by conning you, right? And so my thing with pain is that I had so much mental pain growing up. I mean, my mother died when I was 4 years old. My father was tormented. He lost the love of his life. He didn't know how to recover. He never really recovered from it. He did the best he could, but I never really heard "I love you" until that I can remember. Not that it didn't happen. I just don't have any recollection of it until around the age of 18 years old. I was raped and molested as a kid. I was paid money not to say anything about it. I lived in shame, and I lived in, embarrassment, and I felt like a worthless human. I had no real sense of self-esteem that was, deep and meaningful. It was just this state of just constant angst, and that carried into even my adult life. Because I had not yet dealt with the traumas of my childhood, because I couldn't fight back at the time. I couldn't ask for help, and I couldn't run away. And when you can't, fight back, you can't, run away, you can't ask for help, you repress. And when you repress, either people develop diseases, or they develop addictions as coping mechanisms, which equals pain. Like my friend Gabor Mate says, the question is not why the addiction, but why the pain. And so if you think about business, you think about what humans are constantly dealing with. They're dealing with bad news. And our friend Dan Sullivan has this great line where he said, years ago, and we've done podcasts on this topic, is other people's bad news is your good news. And most money comes from transforming other people's bad news into good news, which means taking their pain and either lessening it, reducing it, or eliminating it. So if you're really hungry, that's bad news. But if there's a restaurant or a place to get food, that's good news. If you break your ankle, that's bad news. But if you can go to a doctor and they can help you, that's good news. If you're bored, that's bad news. If you can go to a movie, if you can get some sort of entertainment, that's good news. If someone's having trouble financially, their financial situation is a wreck, and they can read one of your books, or they can learn from David Bach, that's good news. So if you think about all of the bad news that's been out in the world related to financial matters, David, that you've written books or you've done courses, that it turns into good news. So my whole thing is look for the pain. Be a pain detective, because that's where you can truly connect. And so I'm always looking. Now, that's the interesting thing is oftentimes you have to have rapport, and you have to have trust with someone before they're just going to reveal their deepest, darkest secrets. And in many situations, you don't need to go to that level. When you can build rapport relatively quickly if you ask what's in it for them, if you utilize what I talk about in the book. I teach people ways to do it, especially if you're introverted or you're, shy or you're scared, which is how I spent most of my early life.